Everyone, how are you? It is Teresa from Teresa's Spot for Art. I love sharing off my heart, teach you how to create a little joy in your life through some fun, simple, and quick projects. We're upcycling some yogurt glasses today. Did you see my post? Oui. So, you guys eat yogurt? I try to. I know. I try to do a lot of things that are good for me. It doesn't always work, right? These are the glass jars that the Oui, O-U-I, yogurt comes in. They make great gifts. You can put a candle in here. You can put a votive. You can put a tea light. You can put candles. You can put an air plant. You can decoupage. I'm going to paint it, but you can do so many different things. These could be favors. These could be place setting markers for a shower, a party, a dinner, whatever it is. And we're going to paint a couple of these. So I'm going to turn you guys around and we will get started. Here we go. Here we go. So as always, when I'm painting glass, the first thing I'm going to do is clean it with some regular old isopropyl rubbing alcohol. Now, these were in the dishwasher, but then I moved them around. They sat on the counter. They moved into my art room. So I am still going to clean them with alcohol. These were a donation, got a whole box of these, donation from a lovely patron at my local library that I've become friendly with. Her and her daughter come to most of my classes at my library. I go to many libraries here on Long Island to teach and facilitate some art programs. So we did that. I'm going to get out a few paints. Now I like to use, you can use whatever you want. Okay, let me see, are these going to stay here? Let me put something down so they don't roll. There's one, there's two. Okay, you can use whatever paint you want. Multi-surface paints work. I like using stuff that is glass paint, whether it's deco art or plaid, or even gloss enamels. Gloss enamels, they're multi-surface, but they're enamels, and I like using enamels on glass. Okay, it's just how I roll. And I'm going to get out a few colors. I'm going to get out some pink. And it's amazing how little paint you need when you paint on glass. I'm just literally dime size. Right, I've used this plate before. Don't get confused with my mess. And I'm putting out all the colors at once because I want to mix and match. I might want to make some unique colors, mix my colors myself, and not just use the yellow and the orange and the pink and the purple. This, what is it? This fuchsia and this orange make a really nice coral color, even though I have this coral color here. So we're just going to play, have some fun. I'm going to show you a few different, which one is this? Oh, that's glass. Purple, and then I'm going to save the green for last because I'm just going to go in with the green and do some like little embellishments and whatnot. So I'm going to get this small liner brush. I have this flat brush. This brush is a little stiff for glass. See how quickly this brush springs? You want a brush that doesn't spring as fast as that. See that? This brush is way too stiff to paint on glass. You want a softer brush. Okay? So if you have a brush that's really stiff and doesn't have a lot of give to it, you're not going to use that for a glass. Okay, I just had that one out because I was doing stuff. All right, the first thing I'm going to do, I guess I'm going to get some purple paint. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to roll my brush. When I want to point on my liner brush, I hold it at a 45-degree angle. I'm getting my time lapse steady. Ready? Steady, Eddie. I hold it at a 45-degree angle to my puddle of paint or to my plate, and I roll it between my thumb and forefinger. I'm not upright like this, straight up and down, and whooshing it around. Nope. It's on its side. The bristles themselves are flat. My brush is a little wonky. See that curve to it? Instead of being straight like this, it has that little curve to it. I don't care. I'm going to show you guys that even if your bristles are together and your brush does not have bedhead and your brush is nice and neat, it's okay. All right. So I get that all rolled up, and I'm going to show you two different flowers, but they're actually the same. So the first one I'm going to do is with my brush handle facing up. And I'm going to push my brush down, pick up some more paint. I'm going to push my brush down, and then I'm going to push my brush down. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to push my brush down. Take off my glasses. I'm going to push my brush down and then down again. And that's with my brush handle facing up. Okay. I'm just going to roll these a little bit. I have these brushes here to keep them from rolling. The second one I'm going to show you is the same exact thing, but now my handle is facing me. And again, I'm going to do a middle, and I'm going to do a right, and I'm going to do a left. I want them all the same size, so I'm going back over them. So I'm going to do a middle. I'm going to do a right. Oops. And I'm going to do a left. Okay? And I'm just going to work my way around doing some of these. Again, brush up. And these are a series of 3. And I'm not even making any brush strokes. I'm just pushing on my brush. And I'm going to go around the whole entire top. Now you can make these as uniform as you want, or a little bit more whimsy. And it's basically 3 separate dabs, and they're either meeting on the top or meeting on the bottom. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to finish them off, because right now you're like, what the heck is she doing? But I'm going to show you. The thing is, you want to make them about the same size. So now I'm going to wash my brush. Let me open the chat so I can see. I don't know what's in there. Check out my YouTube channel. Yep. Hello. So you hop on. Let me know where you're watching from. Okay. Another thing about painting on glass and using glass paint or enamel paint, you want your brush dry. So when you rinse out your brush, sometimes I use more than one brush, but when you rinse out your brush, you want to dry it as best as you can. You want your fibers. You don't want to introduce a lot of water to enamel paint or glass paint, okay? So I'm going to, maybe I'll get some pink now. Again, 45 degrees. Hold on my brush over to the side. All right. I'm going to put my fingers inside my glass. I don't want to get fingerprints all over it because I've already cleaned it with alcohol. And I'm going to start doing like these little, I guess there's kind of like hyacinths. And I'm just dipping. Starting out taller on the bottom. Thinner on the bottom. Getting wider towards the middle. And then getting tapered again on the bottom. Another tip for when you're painting with glass paint and on glass, don't be afraid to keep adding paint to your brush. Okay? Sometimes it's as much as every stroke you need to add paint. Glass paint tends to be a little translucent. In order to get it a little bit more opaque, you need a lot of paint. Also, don't paint over wet enamel paint. You'll lift it. So if you want to then go back and add details or add some highlights or what have you, you're going to want the first coat to dry, and then you can come back in. All right. And I know these don't look like much right now, but like any other painting, we work in layers, and It is a process. So we start from one way and we build up. Okay? So let me wash my brush. You can do all this one same color flower. You can do multiple colors of flowers. It's totally up to you. I have these here because they were rolling, but I don't think I'm going to need them. I'll leave one just in case. Okay? Let me see what else I have on there. Oh, then this is a simple one. I'm going to take, I think I'll take the orange, and I'm going to add some orange dots. I'm using the back of the brush, and I'm randomly placing orange dots around. Okay? I like working in one color at a time, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work one color at a time and go back and forth between glasses. I'm just going to wipe off my handle. And now every place I put an orange dot, I'm going to put a little bit of a bigger dot around it. Again with the glasses. And look how cute these little tiny flowers are. And it's basically just dotting with the back of my brush. If you joined me late, these are Oui Yogurt glasses that I'm upcycling. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do. Just hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. I'm working on tips for painting on glass. Got a little spot on there. I'm just going to wipe it off. My yellow got a little away from me. These make really cute gifts. If you have a silhouette or a cricket, you can go back in later and put names on them, table numbers on them, wrap a little bit of raffia or twine around the neck. You can put a candle in here, wrap a ribbon around the neck, and attach a gift card. It's always nice to get a little something personal, right? I think this is the, oh, one more orange dot. I'm going to show you then how we're going to highlight and finish up the other flowers that we did. The bigger the dot, you just want to do one dip dot and paint and come back. Okay? All right. Let me get out. Oh, I already have a little bit of white. So I'm going to get out some, use my white. Again, I'm not touching my glass. And now I want to go back and I'm going to add a little bit of white highlight to these longer ones that are kind of like hyacinths. Not too much, just a few white highlights. There we go. I'm going to pick this one up. You can do this with jelly jars, mason jars, any upcycled glass, wine glasses. Okay. And I'm going to get out a little bit of green. All right. Now the ones that we painted on where our handle was facing us, that they look like a letter M, I'm going to grab some orange, I think, and put little flower centers on the tops of all of them. Okay? So the ones where all the strokes met at the top, we're giving them little round flower centers with the top of our brush. Okay. The ones where we had our brush like this, and they look more like a W, I'm going to pick up some green. Again, I'm rolling my brush in the edge of my puddle. My brush is on a 45. I'm going to come in here, and I'm just going to add in this little bit of green. I'm making like a V at the bottom of each one of these, so it looks like it's holding in the bud. Okay, and I want to do the same thing with the which ones that I did the hot pink that are like a hyacinth. So I'm doing one side of my V and then a little longer side of my V. Let me go to this one. So I'm doing one side and then a little longer side. One side and a little longer. Pick up some more paint. One side and a little longer. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the hyacinths. Just gives them a little bit more of a finished look, that down there is some greenery. Okay? And then I can come to these and add a little bit of a leaf. And again, I'm just pushing down my brush, giving it a little push, adding tiny, tiny little bit of green, 3 or 2 leaves to each of these little orange and yellow flowers. Painting on these little glasses and painting such little tiny flowers, it's more of a push than it is strokes. And I'm going in, I'm just tucking these in between where our circles meet. Okay? Look how cute. Look how cute that is. And now to finish it up, let's see what color. I'm going to take the coral color, which I didn't use yet, which I love. And I'm going to put these little tiny clusters of 3 dots. I use these a lot. It just brings your entire project together. So that one. And remember, you can do these as full or as sparse as you want. And I'm going to do the same thing now with white. You could even come in here, you can paint these one solid color and then come back and paint the flowers over them. Just remember, your glass needs to be completely dry when you do that. Okay, and then let me wash my brush again. I'm going to give it a good wash, and then we're going to give it a good dry. And I just want to come back with my white, and I want to add a little bit of white to the flowers that have the green leaves. You can add them to both. I'm just happen to be adding it to these. These ones are facing up. The other ones are facing down. So I just feel like these would have highlights on them. The ones that are like upside buds may not necessarily have highlights on them. They don't have to match exactly. They just have to coordinate. How cute is that? Let me get this. Put it in there. And now you can see them much better. How cute. And that's all there was to it. I think this took me about 10 minutes. And like I said, you can fill it up more if you want, less. And there we go. I'll turn you guys around. And there we are. So we just painted up these cute. I'll put the paper in again. I think that helps for you guys to see it, right? And these are just upcycled yogurt cups. You can do fruit, you can do flowers, you can do abstracts, whatever you want.